Can you hear me? Yeah, you can. Okay. There we go. That's how I fixed it. Um, Sorry about that. I didn't know that happened, but thank you for warning me. Um, Anyways, long time no see, but as I was saying, well, I should probably start from the beginning because you guys didn't hear me. Guys, gals, and, non-binaries. Basically, my character was in Zone C of Hell. That's where she was born. Her father was the king of Zone Z, and her mother was a fallen angel. And somehow they came together, but I didn't really come up with story for that. Um, I guess he just acted nice at first, and she fell in love with him. Or maybe he just manipulated her. But basically, my character was born, and the father didn't like me because I was female. And usually males are born in Zone C, so he didn't like the idea of a female being born, or being even the princess of Zone Z. So, hmm, no. Anyways, like I was saying, my character then, um, goes through, what's it called? She gets picked up by the father, and he's just about to throw me into the erase pit, and that's where my character would then disappear. But thankfully, the mother saves me because, sure, she's manipulated by him, but when it comes to their own child, she can't let that happen. Anyways, as I was saying, um, yeah, pretty much my character then ends up at a daycare, but again, I'm not going to mention the daycare story because I might be doing that roleplay at some point. Just going to be talking about Zara City and her past to make sense of the whole entire series, because episode 2 is kind of going to be the backstory episode. But since I lost the world, or maybe can't get it back, I might as well just end it off. So basically, um, as far as things go, my character ends up after the daycare. She goes back to hell where her father is, and her father then pushes her into doing all of the things like chores, even just doing everything for everyone that needs to be taken care of. But as I was saying, Zara then leads on over to leaving hell again, this time injured, but her father then puts her into a jail. So then she, um, sorry, trying to remember all this story that I already had come up with before is kind of really hard, so none of it may actually make any sense to people. I probably should have said that, but I'm trying to remember. It's coming all back to me. But basically, She then ends up into Zara's city the first time, and it's all just mountains. There's literally nothing there. She then makes a dirt hut. Of course, that's where everyone starts. And she's very young, and she doesn't understand many different things. And in the story, it's been many, many, many years since she actually went back there after going to many different pizzerias. Some of them she left because she didn't like the people there. Some of them she just left because she was bored. You know, many different things. But yes, she can travel to different universes, but she's supposed to stay in Zara's city. What the father didn't realize was that the mother gave powers to Zara after dying from him, and she could basically transfer Zara over to many different dimensions. So basically, she's, well, she's a demon. That's really it. And she just goes to many different worlds. She can transform into anything and transform anybody into anything. But in reality, she's just depressed. And she doesn't really have very many friends, at that time. Nobody really talked to her. Everyone else just kind of did random things and off-putting things that were very inconsiderate of them. Kind of the reason why I left certain people. They were also very mean to me, so that's also why. But to be honest, she then, of course, talking about my story and then ending off like talking about that type of weird stuff because there's no need to talk about it anymore because those people do their own things, especially now. I will definitely say that just go do your own life and don't worry about me because I've already found out who I truly am, and I don't need other people just trying to find me again just because they are mad or confused. I really don't need that in my life. It makes me kind of schizophrenic because I feel like they're just gonna talk to me again, and then I'm just like, please don't talk to me. Well, other than that, let's continue with the story. Basically, Zara then moves on to a different couple of universes. Then she comes back, and that's when the city is somewhat built. Now, the last episode slash stream that I technically did with you guys on my city world was a pizzaplex that I was gonna try and create for myself, and I was actually gonna show all of you um the finished build, but sadly I never could give it to you guys because I deleted it accidentally. But moving on from that, because I already told you all of that, Zara then moves on And she ends up finding different buildings, seeing many different things. It gives her nostalgia of when she went over to Jimmy's world. And Jimmy always forgot about her. Oh, I love that joke. But in the end, it did make me very depressed. Because whenever he first did that, this was twice, by the way, he didn't, hear me, and I didn't really say anything. I most likely was muted the whole entire time and was just doing my own thing because I was like, you know what? I'm not really wanting to do much here because I was still anxious from another person joining in. And now they don't talk to Jimmy anymore. So that sucks. But basically, I, you know, I still kind of struggle with that anxiety. But to be honest, I'm over it. I'm over all the things that I did. I just want to be somebody new. Now, the only thing I could definitely say, what I did was not okay. But I'm glad I didn't do too terrible of things. I'm glad I didn't hopefully hurt too many people. Because they all seem to be okay in life now. Because they're getting hurt by other different people and they probably most likely forgot about me, so yay! Going back to that topic, my character then ends up going through the city world and she meets new people for some odd reason. And when she meets these new people, they all introduce themselves and she gets confused. She's like, didn't father send me here because it was a jail cell? Because I was trapped here and then I found a way out, and who's bringing them here? What she didn't realize was that they all transported here from the sky, from the water, through a weird portal, or maybe even just a dream sequence of them getting here into the city world because, one, I can never exactly figure out those transitions. Two, I didn't want to get a portal mod. Three, it's also just really irritating to edit in portals. Oh my god! Hey! Hey, Atlanti! Aw, thank you. But, as I was saying, um, through this story, I pretty much want to say, like, episode 1 was just a start, and I'm very glad that I made it. I did a Java series, and now I'm about to complete it. Give you guys the story that you want. The next thing that I will talk about is that do you want me to call you Atlantis? Anyway, let me finish my story and then I'll talk to you about it, okay? As I was saying, Zara then goes through hmm, through the city, and then she falls asleep for a night. When she falls asleep, she doesn't realize that somebody just walked in and put a potion onto the wall. This somebody was none other than Jimmy himself. Now, his story technically is that he hates my father, no doubt, and that he just wants to save me from the bad people in my world. And to be honest with you, I have figured this out many different times. I wanted to figure out who would be the technical villain in this series. And I'll be honest with you, it's technically myself. Because I would be controlled by my father, and not only that, I'm the demon. He's the angel. Well, a fallen angel. Same like my mom, which I already explained that, if you would have watched before now. But pretty much, my character doesn't realize that somebody broke in because she's a deep sleeper. And she then goes outside of the room, her bedroom, and goes into the kitchen the next morning. When she does so, she sees the potion on the wall. And then she hears voices. These voices are from Jimmy outside the window, flying and talking from the building. Now, nobody would have recalled this. Nobody would have known this, but Jimmy the whole entire time would have been there. And he would have been the one causing all of the mad antics for my character. The reason is because he's trying to give her a lot more reason to why she's here and trying to save her. Again, Zara really didn't want this. She wanted to stay there, and she just loved the city for how it was. But I guess now, since I'm the one who deleted it, this story technically would have been true. At least the last story that I would have came up with. But we'll just say, in retrospect, Zara deleted the world and everyone escaped. However, we're not just going to say that. I'm actually going to give you guys the good and bad ending. Now, the good ending would have been Zara going through a lot of hell and then falling and been erased. Of course, nobody would have wanted that ending. Not even YouTube would have allowed it. So I scrapped that idea. But that's what the bad ending would have been. Now, the good ending is where Zara triumphs through all of the different trials that Jimmy puts her through. Let's just say the potion that controls her for a day. There would have been another episode where she would have turned into something and couldn't turn back, and Jimmy had to turn her back into something, but he just felt like, nope, I'm gonna let you go through this. Until, like, the last few minutes, and then he just decided to transform her back after her feeling really sad. You know, it would have been a bunch of different lessons. Sadly, through this, it didn't end up quite that way. And there would have been a FNAF type of thing, but it would have been called Zara's Pizzeria. And it wouldn't have been animatronics. It would have been nothing related to FNAF, but it would be um something, it would have been a very different metal. And in my story, it would basically be iron ingots, or netherite ingots actually. But in retrospect, this new mineral would have had the power to transform human bones into it, the mineral, which would be very painful. But what I will say, okay, I love you too. What I will say is no one would have seen it, and they wouldn't have even felt it. They would actually fall asleep through it. So that would have been fun. But basically, the metal can transform anyone into whatever animal, can also transform anyone into a furry. It could transform anybody into anything. But of course, in my roleplay, my first rule, no NSFW. So, with all of you feeling very horny, I've got the horny bat. Whack. No horny. Anyways, um, as I was saying, basically it would have gone through a whole bunch of different mental tasks Zara had to go through. Basically, she would have felt very depressed by the end of it and end up going to this portal, and then the whole world would have disappeared. Same with everyone else. Jimmy would have been off in a different realm and wanting to save me, but in order to do so, he would have had to wait in a certain place, because my mom would have told him, because she's a celestial being, but also a fallen angel. She would have told Jimmy, please save my daughter at this spot. Now, this spot would have been a castle, of all things. This castle would have included 90 floors and would have been full of gooey monsters. I know what you all are thinking. No, none of them would transform him, but in many different comics, animations, anything your imagination can give, you all do that on different websites, not on YouTube. Do not comment that. No horny. Like I was saying, uh, Zara would have been up at the top, Jimmy would have been down at the bottom, and Zara at first would be going through all of the zones of hell. She would ask all of the kings in each zone, and queens in each zone, and or non-binary, royalty, to go to different zones, and it would have been alphabetical. Now, the biggest question, will Zara actually fight her father? Yes. Will it be a good fight? No. Definitely not. I will say the fight would have been very brutal. But, in retrospect, no one would have actually seen the full thing. It would have just been a scene, and then Zara would then ask if he's done. He would say, yes. Zara would drop the sword and not want to do anything. And then her father then told her, I really hated you, but that's because I really wanted a son. Seeing as you are really strong, having a son probably would have made you very weak. And to be honest, having you as a son would have made you very weak. To be honest, I'm glad that you weren't a struggle to take care of and you defied my logic. With that, I shall go and let you be the queen of Zone Z. But first, I need to do a few things. So, let me put you in the castle so you could regen. And so he did that. He put me into, you know, something to regen my body. And he ended up fixing up Zone Z. And that's really it. We don't really hear about him after that. A lot of people could speculate different things, but I'll be honest with you. Even if he did any of what you are thinking, the best answer was he would have been happy, knowing that his bloodline would have continued. Either way, Zara then is in the castle. Jimmy finally gets to the top after I'd say about, let's give it 3 years, because each floor is very, very big. And it would have been a very long time for Jimmy actually getting up there. Basically, after all of that, Jimmy then saves Zara, and Zara doesn't wake up. She ends up going down with Jimmy. Like, Jimmy flies out of there, and the whole entire castle explodes. And Jimmy then flies all the way back to the city. Now, with all that being said, I want all of you to know this series would have been a very long series. It could have gone for as long as it wanted to and had many different settings. It could have just told a whole entire story. In fact, I'm very emotional that I ended up deleting it when I didn't know that it's gone. It may be in my recycling bin on my desktop, but even if it's there, there's no way I could put it back in the file. For the mods and everything, it would not work. So, I want to let you all know, Zara would have been alright, and she would have taken control of Zone Z and been the queen. And to be honest with you, Jimmy would have been very happy to help Zara any way that he can. And everyone else in the series would have lived a happy life too. They all would have went back to their own worlds and done their own things. Happily ever after, you know? Now, the last thing that I wanted to mention before I start doing art and get somewhat through it before I actually want to stop is that throughout my life, I've been wanting to create something, but never really had the ambition to, and never really felt energetic about doing it, or even felt the slightest that I needed to. Except I did, but it was fake. The reason why is I wasn't at all who I wanted to be. I was a negative person, and I've got many, you know, things to say to the people that I've hurt, but I know they would never listen to me. The biggest thing that I can say is that all of you give me the support that I need, even on the darkest days. I love that you all keep me going, and that you all give me the love and support, even if I don't want to talk to you. You know, it hurts, it does, to see old friends go, but they've done things that can't be forgiven. I've done things that can't be forgiven too, and yet I make new friends, and they see that I'm a good person. Even though they don't know my past, they know as long as I don't hurt them, that I could be there for them and help them. I'm not going to take any of this for granted. In fact, I don't even know why I deleted that city world, why I thought it was a good idea to transfer it to my laptop when I knew it wasn't going to work, at least correctly. And you know, it sucks. It sucks when you want to do something great, but in the end, you always mess it up somehow. That's because I didn't characterize it well enough. I didn't sort it out, and I gave myself false hope. This time, I'm not going to do that. I have something new that I'm not going to tell any of you about, but just know it'll bring up my brightest futures, and hopefully all of yours as well. I'm very sorry I couldn't have been a better friend to those people. I'm even very sorry to myself for being so unhelpful, ungrateful too, and just not giving any support, even though they needed it. Anyway, this would go way too far if I were to talk about myself too often. So, the last bit of my message before I start the art is that all of you are very cool, very loving, very adorable, and last thing I'll say is you motivate me to keep on going. Even though I may seem like I'm not doing much, I am. I'm doing a lot. And I hope all of you keep on motivating me. Maybe even give me, you know, comments saying that you're, you know, I will give you all the same amount of comments. I will give everybody love. I just wish to get the same thing in return. So please, comment I wish you a happy new year. A happy new year. And I will wish you all the same. Anyway, enough with the melancholy. Let's start off with doing some art. Now, since that was like 41 minutes, again, I usually do my streams to be about maybe an hour. But if I'm doing two different things, they will be most likely about 2 hours. So, without further ado, let's get drawing, shall we? First off, this will be the thumbnail for the end. So, let's go ahead and get started with some nice magenta. Let's go ahead and turn you down just a bit. All right. Good. Now that I got that, I'm gonna real quickly add me. Good. Why is it? There we go. Why does it do that? Hmm. I wonder. Okay. So, I don't know why it does this, but if this does keep on happening, I'm gonna have to struggle with it, which I really do not like, because it somehow got used to my laptop, but now I just, do I need to turn you off? How do I... Go to settings? Is there settings? Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Huh. Because the last time it did work. I just don't know why it's doing it now. Because, like, see, like, um, hmm. If I can't get it to work, I most likely have to use this. And I don't want to, because my mouse is not a great tool to use. So I'm gonna real quickly save this in downloads and real quickly name it Zara thumbnail. Then real quickly close it. Real quick, gonna go ahead and set you on that. So that way you don't see my background, because do not want to show that to you all. And I'm just configuring things. Oh, this is it. Oh goodness, it's all framey. Okay. Um, drawing pad? Microsoft Whiteboard? What? Okay, hold on. Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and not worry about it, because I don't know what's going on, but honestly, I don't think I can do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end off the stream, sadly. I really thought I could do that, but seeing as my computer really just wants to be a bug, I will most likely try and fix that, but if I can't, then I just won't worry about it, and I'll ask some others if they can help me with art, or probably just get another program. Because it seems like Fire Alpaca is kind of buggy. So everybody, please like if you enjoyed this video or stream. Please subscribe. I see many different people that watch my videos that are probably not subscribed, so please subscribe. Um, Not only that, please comment what video you truly love, and also comment Happy New Year, and I hope all goes well, and I will do the same to you. Anyway, see you all. Cool Cats Club.